We got our first look at Chris Paul in Thunder gear on Instagram. Here he is, working out, right? Now, maybe it's just a coincidence. You know, these guys all work out at their different training sessions, trainers, they mix it up during the summer. He's with Dion Waiters of the Heat. We know from earlier this summer there has been interest between Chris Paul and Miami, goes back to July, but at issue was a little bit, Jackie, of, well, you're going to give us a pick in this deal. Well, no, you're going to give us a pick in this deal, right?
Right.
Does this trade, do you think it will eventually make sense for Chris to end up in Miami?
I mean, Chris Paul's going to make $38.5 million this year, and maybe this would make sense. He's got 3 years left. That third year is his option. Maybe you do I know we're not supposed to with tampering, but I can't be tampered. I'm on TV. We did a little wink, wink, and he took away that player option and gave Miami some room for that big 2022. That's the only way this makes sense to me. You'd have to give up Dragic, expiring contract. You'd give up Justice Winslow, nice young player. But then, if you're OKC, you got to still take James Johnson or Waiters or Kelly Olynyk, contracts you don't really want to take on.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I can see why, Scottie, that Chris might want to play with Jimmy Butler in Miami,
sure.
right?
Well, there's a lot of reasons that he wants to be in Miami. Jimmy Butler being one of them.
Right.
But, you know, it's a great market, and it's a team that has a chance to be able to compete in terms of the East. So I understand that, you know, he wants to be in a position where he can compete night in and night out. And when you go to a team that's young and is not trying to win, it's very hard on a veteran player because they don't want to give their full effort. They feel like they can hold back till they can compete for a title. And this is probably the situation that Chris is seeing in the forefront right now, going to a team like OKC. So he definitely wants to be in a better city, but I think playing with a team like Miami with Jimmy Butler, guys that know how to win and want to be competitive, would be a better situation for him.
And on his timetable, right, as you point out, they're ready to try to win now. Jimmy Butler certainly wants to try to win now as opposed to OKC, which is more developing. And Jackie, you bring up, would he, you know, in the idea kind of guarantee any other team he'd decline that player option.
Right.
It's tough for him as the president of the Players Association. These kinds of options, this kind of scale, especially for a player who's older, which is a rule they changed in the last CBA, is stuff that as the PA
Chris Paul
president,
rule. We should almost call this contract the Chris Paul rule.
That he fought for, so it kind of puts him in a weird position.
So it goes back to how much does he really want to win one more time? You know, can he try to win? And I mean, the number's big. It's $44.2 million.
Well,
That's a
I
lot
don't
of
think
money.
he want to win that big. I'm gonna be honest.
Right. And if you're OKC, you've got to get something back. Maybe it is, you know, you've got to get something that makes it worth your while to get back. And I don't think just Dragic and Winslow is enough for you.
Right. And also, by the way, when you say, oh, how badly do you want to win? Look, I don't think even if Chris Paul was to go to Miami right now, everyone's like, oh, they're the favorites for the NBA title.
No.
Right?
But they're a playoff.
So
They'd be a strong playoff
It
team.
just kind of would come down to, would he be willing to give something up, some of that money, other, you know, a guarantee of all of that money to play in a city where he felt maybe a little bit more comfortable, play with a guy who was a little bit more his age on his timetable, obviously with great ownership, strong coaching, all of that stuff. But I don't know. I do think it's hard for him, being Players Association president, to set that kind of precedent. And look, he started his career in Oklahoma City, technically, because of the hurricane. Scottie's like, nobody is giving up $44 million.
No, I know winning is important, but when you're talking that kind of money.
Well, and it's probably your last big payday.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll see. You never know. This is a weird league. Things happen. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.